Hi there. How are we all doing? Welcome to RPG Limit Break, your primary home for the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise League. The highway to the Zemus-Zone is we are very deep into that highway, and we are looking forward to another exciting race 29 of our league here out of 32. It's going to be another good one. I am Game Boy F9. I am joined by Supremacy. How are you doing this evening?
Doing really well. Really excited to see what all these runners are going to bring out for us today.
Yes, I agree. And quick introduction of our runners here. We have, we're going to start with Obdajr Jr., who has 7 points. Based on projections, he probably is going to need to get a second to get into the last chance races. First, definitely will get him into the last chance races. We have Hippos, who is standing on 6 points on his last race. So definitely, I would definitely say needs a win to move on to the last chance race here. We have Xyrak, who is pegged on 4 points, but does have 2 races to go. So probably needs a good showing here to have a chance to advance. And then we have TheFiz, who is right now in really good shape with 10 points on his last race. If he gets third place, he's probably going to wind up in the top 12, and that is where you want to be. You don't get a last chance race, you're moving on to the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody here is looking for a first place. TheFiz is probably the only one that can actually still get a third place and still make top 12. But even that third place is going to be not desirable.
Yeah, no. I mean, shoot, if TheFiz gets first place, then he might have a chance at top 4. And that is a mighty big advantage, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And the reason that is that I believe that they get to draft their opponents or something like that, if I recall. But yeah, we're just about ready. We're about 20 seconds away from live racing here on RPG Limit Break. Hope you're all having a great time. Thank you for watching, taking time out of your day to enjoy this. And the competition has begun. We are starting with Palom, and we are going to be joined by Sid. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's just go straight to the underground. Magma key is the starting item. Oh man.
I don't think you could ask for much better of a start. I mean, you got 2 characters that are very useful, and the world is now open.
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be so many stores that are being open to possibly pick up some really awesome items. And oh boy, well, let's see how we start this.
And everybody already asking, where is the troll?
Yeah, I was hearing through the grapevine that our restreamer Scala Kitty usually rolls troll seeds, but so far, and not quite the case.
Well, looks like we see Porum at the Baron Inn, chilling with some computers.
Oh, a samurai armor and a dragoon armor in Baron. So that's a pretty nice find. I mean, worst case scenario, that's just a whole ton of money.
Yeah, and I mean, Sid can equip both of those, so I expect, unless they really need the cash, Sid's going to be wearing some dragoon armor soon.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, a golden apple found. Okay. So that adds... no, I'm sorry. AG, that's a silver apple. Yeah, that's a silver apple. So that adds 50 hit points to your 50 maximum hit points to a player's total. So
yeah, since they know that Porum's there, that could definitely come into play. Trying to get her to have very high HP to survive the Zeroma's fight is something everyone kind of wants. We've seen a whole lot of people, self-included, wipe to Zeromus with Porum as their only healer because she just doesn't survive very well.
We now move on to our next destination. 3 players going to Damkayan, or Damsayan, excuse me, and TheFiz going to Miss to check out the boxes there.
And we saw Dragon Whip and Crystal Armor in Damsian. So the Dragon Whip will be great if they find Iridia somewhere. And Crystal Armor, while it's got a disadvantage of you can't Berserk through it, sells for a whole lot of money.
Yeah, and still checking out, and so everybody's got their treasures from Damsayan. Hippo's going to pick up the hovercraft just in case. Get that all wrapped up. And is Xyrak going to throw down the key right now, or going to look at shopping first?
Yeah, okay, like there's Starveiled and Agart.
Yeah, there's yep, you're right. There's those Starveils, one of those key items that you gotta have, especially with some of these bosses. And straight away, there goes that crystal armor that Supremacy was talking about.
Yeah, looks like we have silk webs in Toria in the past shop. I did not see what Hippos found at the other shop there. And TheFiz is heading to Hobbs, probably going to check out who the character is there.
Putting on all that defense on Sid. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Sid with even just his wooden hammer and that kind of defense, he'll be taking very minimum damage from most of these early bosses, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of trouble unless it's something like the Wyvern.
Meanwhile, all the other runners, excuse me, have thrown down the magma key. 2 are already in the underground.
Oh, we see it's a duplicate Porum on top of Hobbs, so...
Oh no, that's that's the other one. Anyway, so we are gonna face the Fabul Gauntlet.
Yeah, I think at least half of our runners might see that and just nope out, especially if they've already seen Porum at the Baron Inn. Like, I'm not gonna sit through this gauntlet.
Yeah, and
looks like Fizz makes that choice now.
Yep. And I just noticed sirens available down in the underground. So, shoot, they could if they could find some coffins, they could rapidly score thousands upon thousands of experience points.
Oh, yeah, and if you look at the TheFiz screen, we see that it looks like there's a Dark Knight Cecil in the party, but this is just a graphical glitch that happens when you reset sometimes.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, wait a minute, where did Dark Knight Cecil come from?
Saw Catclaw in the Antlion Cave, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Catclaw adding agility and strength, if I'm not mistaken, to a player's total. Very important when it comes to Zeromas, especially if Yang shows up.
It looks like we had another Dragon Whip in the Dwarf Castle, so if they ever find Rydia will have a ton of physical possibilities, or Dragon Whips sell for good money.
Yeah, the only disadvantage with those Dragon Whips, I do believe that is the strongest whip. Yeah. Oh, man. Wow. As Hippos has picked up all the sirens. Okay, here we go. Antlion Cave. Here's our second boss. It's Kalbrenna.
Yep, so I saw TheFiz has a Blizzard in the inventory, which probably would have made short work of them since it's HP based with Sid Sai starting HP, but opts to use the Stardust instead just to make sure.
And our prize is, a ribbon helmet. So that's not a key item, but that is a really good piece of equipment to have.
Yeah, definitely something you're not sad about seeing early on. It'll definitely make your mages a little bit more sturdy. Definitely not something you always want to see really late in the game, but...
Meanwhile, down at the land of summoned monsters, Obda Jr. picks up the Baron Key.
And it looks like Hippos is doing the looting of the chests, had found the one that is trapped and reset out, so now knows that all the rest of the chests are safe to grab.
Is Obda Jr. gonna check out the bosses? Probably just for... Well, I mean, if there's Water Hag, or, which is a free fight...
Water Hag is not free at those spots.
They're not. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's free in the sense that 3 attacks will still hit it, or still kill it, but the speed of those spots in combination with their physical attack power, especially low level, it'll just kill you before you can get 1 attack off, so...
Yeah, very, very true. My bad.
But it looked like we had Dr. Luge and probably the Elements fight.
So now we're going to head down to the Sylvan Cave. We're probably going to have a chat with Yang here to open up that key item. The key item being the item up at Fabul from Yang's wife.
It's really interesting when you have a magma key start, because there's so many options available. Sometimes the first things you want to do are go check the Land of Summoned Monsters and check the Sheila item. But occasionally it's not necessarily the most efficient play, because you can end up finding the pan somewhere on the overworld so that you would save yourself the trip all the way back down.
Over at, I believe it was the Fabul Gauntlet, we've got Pale Dim as the boss here. So pretty much any physical attack will have Pale counter with the slow spell.
Yeah, Pale Dim's not doing a whole lot of damage to this party, but the party's not really doing a whole lot of damage to Pale Dim yet either. You see Hippos popped a Siren and is going to be killing some eggs. Looks like they got an Hourglass. Want to get those really early levels on Sid and Palom. Probably get to Quake.
Wow, great play by Hippos. 34,000 experience, 12 levels for Palom. And looks like Obda Jr. is going to face the Fabul Gauntlet of Pale Dim.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that more runners aren't taking the path that Hippos is right now. If you found the Sirens and you found Hourglasses, these early levels are going to accelerate the rest of your checks so much.
Yeah. Xyrak putting down a Blizzard heals Pale Dim for 8 damage. Pale Dim counters with a Blizzard as well and kills Palom. But Pale Dim goes down over in the Fizz's side.
Yeah, you don't want to use any kind of elemental attacks on Pale Dim. It heals from all of them and then will counter with an attack with the same element.
And we have the Adamant as a key item over as your prize for winning the Fabul Gauntlet there. So
yep, they got a rock.
Yeah, that's about all you could say about that. But Coffin was found by the Fizz, so very free and very quick 34k coming up.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I haven't seen if any of our other runners have picked up Coffins, but especially with early Sirens, early Underground, if you find the Coffins, it's just free levels.
Xyrak has defeated Calabrena and has picked up his ribbon.
Yeah, it looks like Hippos is actually heading for Baron, which is a little interesting to me.
So over in Baron, there are 2 bosses and a key item available.
Yeah, it's just a little bit surprising. Most people, when you do the Magma Key dive, you'll head up and do Fabul, so you get the free heal from Fabul both before and after. And then it also lets you turn in get the item from Sheila right away.
Xyrak, having discovered the Fabul Gauntlet over on Mount Hobbs, passes on that and moves on.
Yep, it looks like Hippos did those 2 eggs were enough to get Quake on Palom, so he's just gonna cast Quake for probably the first, 30 to 40 minutes and kill everything.
Knocked out the CPU and is now going to take on Sandy, Cindy, and Mindy. Here comes another Quake. The Delta attack is probably not going to do too much. No, I didn't think so. That is not a very high magic spot right there. And down they go.
Oh yeah, that's exactly the boss you want to see there when you got Quake. Because you saw what happened and just went, okay, well, hey, we found a hook. Too bad we already know that it's Magma Key start, so probably won't be seeing any bosses in Eblin Cave today.
No, well, the reason you might want to do that is to pick up a character and or see what they've got at the shop there. But the Junior nopes out a mount. No, they're gonna see what's gonna go over here, and then let's see what happens. And there's the nope.
Yep, so a little bit of a different start for everybody, but I think they might all converge around the same time. They're going to do it in different orders, but eventually everyone will have done Fabul, Antlion, and Baronin. Probably before then deciding the major route divergence here of, do I do Dwarf Castle? Do I do Tower of Babel? Do I go check out Cave Eblin? We'll see kind of what items open up more of the world to them.
So we see the Fizz over at the Dwarf Castle and going to do some shopping. I'm wondering if the boss is going to... No, we're not going to see the boss here. Not yet.
So Obdajr Jr. checks the package, sees Rydia, and then is now resetting out. Never mind.
Huh.
And I missed it. Where did Obdajr Jr. get the package from?
Let me think. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Sheila, that's right. Thank you, everyone in chat, for looking at that. But yes, that was from Sheila after visiting gang.
Oh, gotcha. That's right. Fizz hasn't gone into the underground yet, so he did Fabul before talking to the Sylphs.
Hippo's now defeating the Calbrenna down the Antlion Cave, picking up his ribbon. So we now, I believe we have 3 ribbons on the board.
Yeah, so I wonder, I mean, there's really not many characters you want to sit through the package cutscene for. I'd say that most people probably only want to do it for either Rosa, Fu, or Edge. But we see Xyrak hasn't reset yet, so is either still thinking about it or is committed to getting Rydia. We found 2 Dragon Whips, so not necessarily the worst choice if you want to do some egg grinding. But it's such a time sink.
Yeah, it's a good, 3 or 4 minutes, because you gotta go through this cutscene, and then you have to fight the boss after that.
Although, as chat points out, if the D-Mist happens to be the Kaipo boss from the package, and that turns into something like the Darkness Crystal or the Crystal, that could be a huge thing that nobody else does.
We'll find out in a couple minutes, because there would be huge implications if that's the case.
For sure.
Meanwhile, the Fizz has gone down the land to summon monsters. Probably going to pick up the Baron Key in just one moment's time.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised actually that Hippos didn't pick up Porum and then just go into Baron Castle. With Quake on Palom, I don't think the bosses there will be too much trouble.
As it stands, though, Hippos goes through the Fabul Gauntlet, and the boss at Kaipo is the Ogopogo, very easily dispatched of.
Yeah, I mean, even the worst bosses at that spot are going to go down in one hit from Sid. So even if it's a Wyvern there, Sid should be able to act first and still hit it down.
Fizz checks out the bosses and walks out, just has the information there.
Yeah, life potions and hourglasses in Kaipo, so definitely a good shop there.
And I believe Obdajr Jr. is now knocking out some eggs.
Yeah, I expect that with the Baron Key, the play here might be knock out some eggs, get Quake up, and head to Baron Castle. I'd be surprised if anyone checked Ordeals this early, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
Alright, the Fizz now going down Sylvan Cave. Gonna have a chat with Yang.
Yeah, looks like chat is pointing out that the ninja is asleep in Kaipo, so if they find the Sand Ruby, they might want to go turn that in for another good melee fighter.
Yeah, Edge being one of the most treasured characters in Free Enterprise.
Yeah, definitely one that if you get early will make your early game a whole lot easier.
Hippo's going to Mist, finding Rydia, and resets. That's, yep. Xyrak now taking care of the Baron spot here for that character. I believe he's going to be the first to 4 characters.
Looks like Hippos is checking the Baron shop and gonna head into Baron Castle. Finds a strength ring. That's a really good find.
Fizz now going through those 2 bosses over Baron. And, no Quake over on Xyrak's side.
Yeah, that's definitely going to make the fight a lot harder than it was for Hippos. And I think the Fizz has Quake as well, or is he bouncing other spells?
No, the Fizz is throwing down a Quake, so Sandy, Cindy, and Mindy are going to fall down the hole in a little bit. Meanwhile, Karate over in the first boss over at the Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, checking out the Dwarf Castle with 2 characters, that's a little bit risky, even with the levels, just because, yeah, as you can see, he's getting knocked down a bit.
And I am afraid that is not going to be enough. We'll have to reset, and electing to try that again a little bit later. Meanwhile, over at Hippo's side, we are about to encounter the evil wall that we saw over at the opening sequence of today's competition here.
Yeah, that evil wall can definitely be a little bit tricky, but I think Hippos has enough levels that it won't be a problem.
Yeah, my opinion is throw down some quakes and have a nice day.
Oh yeah, Sid can take those hits without any trouble. I know I've ran into evil wall at this spot and had a very underleveled party, and it was not fun.
It does look like, well, I was about ready to say Xyrak is probably going to win, and Sid just killed himself there thanks to Sandy confusing him.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see that he's using life potions on Sid here, since this fight doesn't give any experience. Well, we found a Moonveil in Barren Castle. That's going to be really useful later.
The Moonveil automatically casts Wall. Is that the one that also it does something else too, doesn't it?
It casts Barrier, which basically makes you immune to all physical attacks.
Oh, yeah. Leviathan is the second boss, so say goodbye to 25% of your max HP there with that big wave.
Yeah, so Obda Jr. and TheFiz kind of switched positions. Obda's now doing the Baron Inn, and TheFiz went to try out the Dwarf Castle. Both did not have a whole lot of success. I saw on Obda Jr.'s screen that a virus hit Sid, so I don't know if he doesn't have Quake or just thought about trying to reflect virus and the wall ran off or what happened there, but that was kind of strange.
Oh man, those two Ice 2s wiped out Palom and Porum in very quick time, and I'm a little worried that Hippos might be in trouble here.
I'm going to say Hippos just realized he has Star Veiled, so he's going to pop one of those, and then the Ice 2s won't do anything to Sid anymore. He'll just have to heal through the wave.
Okay. Fizz of Outdoor Deal's first boss is Golbez. Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, as long when you run into Golbez, if you have 3 characters, you just hope that Palom doesn't get targeted, and you should be fine.
Yeah, so what Golbez does is he holds everybody, summons a dragon, and then defeats players until there are 2 left. And then the battle begins.
Yep, also one of the bosses that you can kind of cheese with Edward, because if you hide Edward, it only counts the characters that are not hidden. So if you've got 3 party members, you can hide Edward and nobody gets eaten. We see Porum gets eaten, so that's the best case scenario for TheFiz right now. Hippos takes down Leviathan and finds a Karate Man.
Oh, that's a nice find, especially if the Cat Claw was acquired, and I think it was over at Hippo's side.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Cat Claw was in either Antline or the Dwarf Castle, and I think Hippos looted both, so... See Xyrak right behind, doing the Evil Wall fight right now.
And TheFiz putting up a wall on Palom's side to bounce off a Lit 3 for 1,000 damage. So I'm thinking Golbez isn't going to be around for much longer. There's the why, because we want to win the game. That's why.
Yeah, Obda, I guess, doesn't have Quake, because I see him trying to bounce viruses, and it's not being that effective. He might wipe here again, because Sid might hit himself into death, and there it goes.
We have a spoon find over with the hippos at the end of Baron Castle. So
Yeah.
the spoon when thrown deals Horda damage, but well, I said thrown. You need edge.
Yeah, but we do know where Edge is. So probably not at all the item they were looking for, but it's a consolation prize if they get Edge. Otherwise, the spoon is the one key item you can actually sell.
King and Queen Eblin is the second boss, so I do believe that is going to be a mostly free fight here.
Yeah, their battle script just says cast spells 3 times and die, so I don't expect, and their spells aren't very strong, so that's basically the freest fight you can ask for, especially in that spot.
Ooh, Xyrak is... Oh, I was about ready to say struggling with the evil wall, but gets through.
Yep, and Hippos is deciding that, hey, Karate Man needs levels, going back to do some eggs.
Yeah, look at that HP total for Sid already, nearing 1,700.
Yeah, and I don't expect Yang to be very far behind.
Okay, TheFiz doing one more safety save, which I do think is a very good idea because what if that third boss is something really ferocious?
Yeah, the inside ordeal spot is only 1,000 hit points though, and is very slow. So even something like Wyvern might scare you a little bit, but you'll get 3 or 4 turns before it acts. So it's not as scary as it possibly could be. We see that the item was a Leviathan summon, so since TheFiz decided not to... Well, Fizz doesn't have the package, so doesn't know about Rydia yet. Decides to nope out and leave. I might have at least checked what the boss was first, just in case it happens to be that Mist Dragon.
As a matter of fact, I think that's exactly what Fizz is doing here.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know why he'd go back then, except for just that.
Oh. Oh, no?
Chat's saying it was Ganazo.
All right, so Obda has completed the Baron bar fight there, as we and is going to proceed to the castle.
Yep, at much higher levels than anyone else who tried the Dwarf Castle, so should not have a whole lot of issues with it.
All right, so Hippos is going to take on the Karate with 4 characters and a lot of levels. As we'll now check out the character that's going to join. And the second boss fight.
Yep, Hippos is definitely looking really good right now. It's definitely made the most progress so far out of all of our runners.
Yes, I would agree. Oh no, Edward showed up. Oh my goodness, and Ashura is going to be the second boss here. But if I'm not mistaken, this spot doesn't have a lot of the boss there doesn't have a lot of HP. So
yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of HP. It doesn't have a whole lot of magic. Basically, you have to do is avoid the Cure 4s until you can get a few high spells off. It does look like Hippos used a Star Veil on Sid, though, and I think he only had 1, so if he's thinking of reflecting it, I don't know if he has another. But doesn't need it anyway, so down goes Ashura.
And now TheFiz is going to do some egg scrambling.
Yep, and it looks like Obda Jr. did finally get through the Baron infight, so is now heading into the castle to see what's there.
Meanwhile, the evil hand of Golbez finally taking that crystal.
And Xyrak looks like he's going to go check out what's at the Odin spot. Meanwhile, the Dwarf Castle item is the pink tail. So has the hook, can definitely go turn that in for an adamant armor, which will make every other boss a whole lot easier.
Yeah, the adamant armor is arguably the most overpowered armor in the history of role-playing games. It adds 100 defense points plus. It adds 15 to all your stats. You're resistant to everything.
We found the demisted Odin.
Ooh, well. What? I was
gonna say Xyrak probably can do this fight, especially if he's got some illusions. It's gonna take a while though. This is not a fast fight.
TheFiz continuing to scramble eggs. Pretty much has made enough eggs to complete his breakfast here, for sure.
Yep, he's got Quake, he's got Virus. That's about all he probably needs for this point, but might still want to do a few more get a few more levels just for the hit points.
Well, Xyrak is still hanging in there. Has 4 characters alive.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I mean, the knowledge that the boss is here is great, but I feel like considering you've already got, where sirens are, the coffin grind or the egg grind is there, and it looks like as we say that decides that this is taking too long. Let's get levels first.
Leviathan goes down on Obdajr Jr.'s side, and Yang has been picked up, and in a second will pick up the spoon after the walls collapse on him.
Interestingly enough, we see hippos actually looting the Eblon cave.
Yeah, I actually think that is actually something that... Oh, Bacchus wine. So, yeah, I was going to say possibly look at the character, but then we see the Bacchus wine, which is a really nice thing toward the end game, especially.
Yeah, and considering the Edward in the party, I wouldn't be surprised to see a check at the character. But I don't know if Porum knows exit, so it might be a long walk back out.
So TheFiz is finished completing breakfast for the time being, while Xyrak is now pulled out the frying pan here. Possibly going with this party from now on. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a party that can get the job done. The only thing with this particular party is that you're going to need a lot of levels to make sure that your mages can survive.
Yeah, when I usually play this game, I usually look at a guide of about 2,000 hit points. And at that point, as we see, is that Dark Knight Cecil? Yeah, it looks that way. But
Yep.
I usually consider 2,000 hit points as a guide, because then you just need to be you're going to be unlucky with a big bang in order to die there. But
yeah, I think if you have reasonable gear, 2,000's a good way to aim. If you have absolutely nothing for gear, you probably want to aim around 2,200, which is very hard with Porum, just because you're going to be sinking a lot of time into leveling. We see Hippos actually opts to take Dark Knight Cecil over Edward, so I expect Ordealed will be his next destination. Or he's just going to say, okay, well, Dark Knight Cecil is my Agi anchor now, and I'm done with it.
TheFiz now going against the evil wall with the very high levels that he's at right now. Should have very little problem here.
Yep, looks like Oda Jr. went in to check the shop, did not bother checking the character, so is just exited out and is going to continue on to what at this point is probably either more leveled in order to try the... Oh, is Obda deciding to go get Rydia now? Interesting.
All right, we're 38 minutes into our competition. Race 29 of the Final Fantasy IV Highway, Free Enterprise Highway to the Zemus-Zone. I am Game Boy F9. I'm joined by Supremacy. Thank you all very much for joining us. And Supremacy, you called it Hippos going up Mount Ordeals.
Yeah, not really too much of a surprise. I mean, it's a little surprising because I don't think we found any good weapons for Cecil yet. But if you're going to take the time to get Dark Knight Cecil, you probably want to make him a Paladin. I know there's a lot of people that will just go with the strategy of, okay, well, we're going to get him to level 14, so he's got 14 agility, and then just have him tank the floor, take a nap, and that's all he does for the rest of the game.
And before we continue, let me also thank Obdajr. I hope I pronounced that correctly for the tracking. Thank you very much for doing that for us. And Scala Kitty, one of the RPG Valkyries, doing the restreaming for us this evening.
Yeah, looks like Oda Jr. decides that it's worth the time to get Rydia now. So.
Well, it would be the fifth character, and so I mean, 5 is better than 4 in my opinion. And I mean, I've always enjoyed Rydia personally.
Yeah, Rydia's definitely got her uses. I think Palom is the objectively better Black Mage, has higher actual magic damage stats, learns all the relevant spells a lot faster. But if you can get the Leviathan or Bahamut summoned, Rydia can definitely hold her own. And the Heroine Dragon Whip is nothing to sneeze at either.
Now Obda Jr. might be picking up Rydia because, I mean, he might think that the Mist Dragon is sitting there in Kaipo. Now we know that it's not, but still.
Yeah, also just might want 5 party members to go... Sorry. Might just want 5 party members to go to Dwarf. If Dwarf is next stop, we know it's Edward, so if there's a bad character there, like Edward, at least Rydia gets grown up and then has access to her better spells and summons, but still kind of a bit of a gamble to go through that cutscene to take Rydia, but definitely worth the check because you never know when it could just troll you with the demist there, so...
Meanwhile, TheFiz just gave Leviathan a severe thunderstorm there in Lit 3. Ouch. And we will say goodbye to Leviathan once again, and Yang will be picked up again, and the Spoon will be picked up once again.
Yeah, so it looks like the only new territory yet to be explored is either the bosses in the Land of Summoned Monsters or going up the Tower of Babel.
Oh yeah, so we've all been wondering where that trolling has come, and looks like it's starting to come out here in the mid game here.
Yeah, so we saw that it was Luge and either Rubicante or the Elements at the Summon Monster spots. Dr. Luge is not too terrible since the HP of the spot gets split amongst both of the fights. He's also, his attack, his beam attack is going to be based on your HP, so not going to be too incredibly strong. Although his laser attack is based off of his HP, which at that spot will probably just one-shot all of your party members. Looks like Xyrak is opting to go back to demist. Got the levels and is like, all right, this fight's not going to take this long anymore, so let me go do this and see what that Mist Dragon holds.
Yeah, and shoot, if that Mist Dragon holds the crystal, that spot is one of the more forgotten spots in Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. So, if this turns out to be if this turns out to have a crystal or even a darkness crystal or something that eventually leads to the crystal, that's gonna be big.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I just realized this does actually yield 2 key items. One for beating D Mist right here, and then another one for talking to the mom over at Mist. So long story short is I like this plan.
Oh yeah, after you've seen the spot and you know that you've got the levels and the spells to do it, not take incredibly long doing it. It's definitely a really good play.
Meanwhile, over in the Fizz's side, we're back to defeating eggs here.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting whenever you see a lot of these early magma siren start kind of seeds, because there's a lot of mix of what's going on, and so far it always seems like the earlier you get your egg grind out of the way, kind of the better, because then everything just goes a lot faster, and you don't have to continuously go back and do a little bit more grinding or come away and go back to a little bit more grinding. Although it'd be really interesting if they didn't have any sirens in this seed. I wonder what the plays we would be seeing, how much different they'd be.
All right, here we go. Hippos going up the Tower of Babel now. So while Abda is gonna take on Yang to pick up Edward.
Yeah, I'm surprised Hippos is still picking up this many chests, but I don't think they found any weapon for Cecil yet, and that drain sword goes right on him. So I think he's definitely looking to find at least like an ice brand in a chest, probably a rune axe.
While over in Xyrak's side, the battle against the D-Mist continues on here. I tell you what, though, that D-Mist is pretty quick.
Yeah, the Odin spot is pretty fast, and like D-Mist isn't hitting them for all that much, but it can still get its 3 attacks off pretty quick and then turn to Mist, and then you're kind of just stuck waiting around for a bit.
Well, look who's joining Xyrak. It's TheFiz. And the question, and I have a feeling TheFiz might be able to defeat this monster. Well, there went one of his characters there.
Yep. Fizz pops the Moon Veil on Palom, so Palom is in 0 danger of dying. The Mist Dragon won't be able to hit him at all. So the fight is basically free until you either run out of magic or I think the barrier status can wear off, but I don't think I've ever seen that happen. But it's still going to take quite a while without a whole lot of damage coming in.
Yeah, so Obdajr Jr. now going against Sura, the second phase of the Dwarf Castle. Here's Hippos going to take on the boss over at the top of the Tower of Babel. Is that the 2 guards there? Which is absolutely what you would want to find at this spot. Okay, D-Mist down over on Xyrak. So Xyrak is first to knock D-Mist out. Drain Spear picked up as the key item. And I bet you that Xyrak is going to make a beeline over to the Mist Village to see the other key item.
Yeah, Drain Spear definitely not what you want to see after investing all the time, but there's still one more chance for value.
First guard is already down over on Hippo's side here. Yeah, and the great thing about the 2-guard fight is that they don't have boss bit, turned on, so they are vulnerable to the hourglass, so that stops them. So it effectively makes it a free fight.
Yeah, and if you have coffins, you're susceptible to that too. So really easy way to use the Vitality glitch, get yourself a ton of experience, and get a really free fight. And we get the Twin Harp from Dragon Mist, so we might be hearing some music today.
And we have the Luca key over in Hippo's side, so might be heading down there just to see what that item is. So one of these two paths might be a winning path here this evening, 48-28 into the competition here.
Or the Crystal and the Darkness Crystal can be sitting in Land of Summon Monsters. Who knows?
Well, we're going to find out here in a little bit, but it's going to take a little while because you are not allowed to use the exit spell or the warp spell to get out of the Tower of Babel. So,
yeah,
it's
It's one of the reasons a lot of runners try to avoid doing the tower, especially without the tower keys, just because of the time investment you have to put in running up and down.
And here we go, the Magus Cave. Hippo is now looks like gonna defeat some more eggs. This has been an interesting seed. This has been one of those seeds where we just haven't been. We've been beating up eggs here and there, and then goes back to some more progression, then beating up some more eggs, and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, I think at this point you kind of have to just be sure of what your levels are. I think doing all the constant "let's go get a few levels" is not that efficient of a play.
All right, so Xyrak's still opening some boxes. Hoping for something really good here. You know, I never knew about that shortcut until I started playing Free Enterprise. And that's a good way to lose. The Dark Elf, right there. And now let's figure out what tune that will be played here. Slowly walks with the harp. And here we go, Supremacy. Name that tune.
Oh, it's the Game of Thrones theme. Hopefully this one doesn't draw DCMA notices like the Pirates of the Caribbean one did.
I will have to confess that I've never watched Game of Thrones before in my life. So I guess I get 10 demerits for that. But anyway, me change the first Milan fight, which in my opinion is typically one of the easiest bosses you could run into just because of how weak Milan is here.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a difficult time with this boss in almost any spot.
Yeah, the thing with Milan is that every time you attack Milan, he counters with Lit 1, which always deals like a petty amount of damage.
Yeah, in some super high hit point spots or super high magic damage spots, it can hit for almost 250 damage, but that's pretty much it.
And the Quake hits for 1. So Milan will not be falling off the deep ravine.
Yeah, Dark Elf spot has notoriously high magic defense. I believe it's got the highest magic defense of all the boss spots, so your mages are not going to be doing a whole lot there.
All right, now we're now going to see what the other branch is about to yield, as Hippos is going down the Luca cave here.
Yep, it'll definitely be interesting to see what these paths hold. And we get the Earth Crystal. So vanilla Earth Crystal at the Twin Harp.
Wow, that's awesome. And this, so that can continue that path possibly, but what's the key item over on Hippo's side? It is the Rat Tail, which is effectively a second key item. And is that 10 items? No, that's 9. But as soon as he finds another key item, bam, double your experience points.
Ooh, and that is a rough boss to have to fight right now.
Ooh, oh boy, we might be going back to 8 key items here in a second. Ooh. Well, except
Yeah, the worst part is that Cecil doesn't have anything good. Like, if Cecil had an Excalibur or a Crystal Sword, he could just berserk through this, but if he's got the Drain Sword, I don't think he's actually going to be able to hit her.
Yeah, this is oh boy. Well, I tell you what, this is why we love this game. It's not just the easy, it's not the easy stuff. It's not just the easy stuff. It's those really challenging situations like this one. As Obdajr Jr. is going to do the exact same thing here, where you just got to try to figure out how to get through this.
Yeah, Hippos is doing a really smart strategy though. He's just not worrying about the weak. He used his Moon Veil on Cecil. So Cecil's just going to be covering everybody as long as he doesn't defend or berserk Cecil. And then he's got Yang berserked and I believe Sid berserked. So it's just going to have them lay in. And we saw that the reflected heal actually missed, which is really funny. And then Obdajr Jr. is on the same fight as well.
Xyrak has actually gone up the Tower of Zot, so we're continuing that path here. D Lunar is the boss here. So D Lunar has this fun thing where you do not want to attack physically, because if you do, they cast wall and then they virus off each other like a big party here. So.
Yep. The other fun thing about the lunar dragons that we found, that I think a lot of people found out during the Highway to the Zemus-Zone, is that their breath attack can be reflected back at them and turn them into frogs.
Down they go in very quick order, as but we're gonna have one more boss here. But there are 2 characters that will be picked up here, so that can be. We'll see in a minute if he tosses away one of his current characters. It looks like Kane is one of the characters here.
So if no one else can get through this Valvulus fight, and it's required, that Kane is going to be a huge pickup if he keeps him. Chat asking if Obda beat Val. I don't believe so. I think he just reset out and decided to go turn in the pink tail.
Yes, that is correct. He did reset out and turn it in to get that item in armor. So TheFiz defeating the boss down there at the Magus Cave. Declining Kane. Fusoya was the other character. Xyrak taking a long time here.
Really interesting to be ditching Kane, but nobody has found any good weapons for Kane or Cecil, so I don't think it's that big of a surprise. But if he runs into the Valvulus later, it's going to be might be kicking himself a little bit. trying to decide who to get rid of now. He's probably thinking about what kind of strategy he wants to use on Zeromus, and decides to get rid of Porum. Interesting.
Yeah, Porum the White Mage.
I can't say I agree. I think in this case you get rid of Rydia almost every time, especially since Xyrak hasn't done Ordealed, so doesn't have the Leviathan summon.
Xyrak is the, Baigen is the second boss here. Probably won't be too difficult, especially with a Quake sitting there. 2 Quakes sitting there, actually. So I think we can safely say, Baigen's about to go down here.
Yeah, and Hippos finishes the Valvulus fight, so it's going to be warping out of here and try and figure out what is at that rat tail location.
Xyrak has White and Medio unlocked, and I did notice that I believe they had Nuke, so going to be set as far as that's concerned. Hippos,
and we find the crystal after the Earth crystal.
Oh boy! Xyrak now has a huge lead. Well, with the one exception though, still has to find the pass. Nobody's found the pass yet.
Yep, nobody has a way to the moon yet. So we could see Hippos get the darkness crystal from that rat tail, and that's actually going to probably be very bad for him, because I don't think he's going to go check the Odin spot if he finds it and goes to the moon right away. Whereas all the other runners will probably go up the tower, get the Luca key, get the rat tail, and then they'll be in go mode.
Yeah, there's TheFiz going up the Tower of Zot as we speak.
So that means that the Mist Dragon at Odin is required, and then so is Twin Harp. So yes, I think this is a Scala Kitty classic. Hippos gets the Legend Sword from the rat tail, so is probably okay with that because has Paladin Cecil is gonna be happy with the Excalibur. But I think that means that the Darkness Crystal has to be in the Land of Summon Monsters.
Ooh, those are gonna be 2 fun fights right there. But first, 2D Lunars over at TheFiz's side. As Obdajr Jr.'s taking on the D-Mist right now.
So it will be interesting to see if Hippos decides to check the Odin spot or just head straight to the Land of Summon Monsters. Because I feel like everybody else now has checked the Odin spot, has saw the D-Mist, and has at least started or is following that chain. And if Hippos gets Darkness Crystal and goes to the moon before checking it, that's just not going to be very good for him.
Xyrak, you were about to say what I was supposed to say. What I was going to say. Xyrak declining Dark Knight Cecil there. So now let's see what TheFiz is going to do with Kane and Fusoya here.
It looks like Hippos is going back for egg grind number, I don't know, this is like 5 or something, but now he's got the 10 key items, so I feel like this is probably the final grind that he'll be doing.
Yeah, probably get set up possibly for those 2 big boss battles down at the Land of Summon Monsters. Okay, Kane is kept and Fusoya has been thrown out. Wow.
It's always amazing to see how different runners value different characters and their party composition.
And I mean, that line right there is what makes this randomizer so good.
I'm still in awe of somebody dumping Fu, though. I think Fu is definitely better than any of the twins, unless you plan on having 5 really strong mages. But when you've got Sid and Yang and you decided to take Kane, you're probably going to be doing Berserker strats. So I feel like Fu is a really good backup healer because you won't necessarily need Palom to get nuke.
Let's see, I believe Xyrak also has 10 items, so knocking out that egg with Rydia's Dragon Whip, which is enough to knock him out in one fell swoop.
Yep, and that might be why he decided to keep Rydia instead of Kane, is because he's got the Dragon Whip, he's got the Heroine Robes, and Kane has 0 gear. So as a frontline fighter, that Rydia might be doing more damage.
Obdajr Jr. defeating the Mist Dragon, so is going to be headed on that path there. While TheFiz is now taking on the Baigan fight here, probably not going to have that much of an issue with a Quake sitting there.
Yeah, I think everyone at this point is pretty much got all the levels and all the spells that they need to make all of these fights a little bit trivial. However, I was going to say, we could run into Wyvern somewhere, but we know that the path to the moon has to be in Land of Summon Monsters, and neither of those bosses are particularly trolly, so...
Looks like Obda's, gonna move on to the Twin Harp part. So, while we're in a slight period of downtime here, I'm gonna take a second to talk about the last 3 races here on the highway to the Zemus-Zone, the league races. We have, on Saturday at 8:30 Eastern, we have Penguinator, Nurm, Aizen, Tayama, and Scratch Dragon. That will be on RPG Limit Break. You'll be restreaming that, actually, Supremacy, yes?
Yep. Hopefully my internet keeps acting correct.
And then on Tuesday, August 28th at 9 o'clock, Aizen Tayama will be back along with Rivers McCown, Kirchen, and Kobahi. That is 9 o'clock Eastern next Tuesday on RPG Limit Break. And then the final regular season league match is next Thursday, also at 9 o'clock Eastern. That is Xyrak and Rivers McCown, Fred Coughlin, and the Great White Hope. What a way to finish the league.
Absolutely. I think the race on Tuesday is going to be especially hype because Kobahi is currently 3 for 3 in all of his races, and Rivers is 2 for 2 in his races. So the only 2 people left in the league that have a chance of getting 16 points, and it will be decided on that Tuesday if either of them can still make it.
Here we go, Dr. Luge. Down at the Land of Summon Monsters over on Hippo's side. Ooh! So, the adamant armor has been unequipped, has actually been transferred from Rydia to Fusoya. So here's the interesting thing about that. With the... when you unequip the adamant armor, you become weak to everything. So Rydia is going to have elemental weaknesses for the remainder of the game, and now it's Fusoya with the adamant armor. And I will also note that 20 magic points was added to Fusoya's score, so that's effectively an extra nuke.
Yeah, an extra nuke or an extra Gear 4, whichever decides to go with. But yeah, the element spot there might give Rydia some issues with all the elemental damage coming out, but otherwise I don't expect there will be too much issues of that adamant armor glitch coming out. Zeromus does all non-elemental damage, so not going to make a difference there.
So, looks like so far not doing too bad with Dr. Luge here. There's the weak beam for 400 damage. There's the nuke that's going to deal a horde of damage there, 7 grand. Oh, that's it. We're done. Thank you for playing.
Yeah, Palom's nukes do quite a good amount of damage. Glass Helm from Dr. Luge, so we know it has to be that element spot now.
Wow. Milan, version 1 going down over at Obda Jr.'s side. TheFiz now taking on the dwarf castle bosses too.
Yeah, this is unfortunately really bad for hippos, because we know that this has to be the Darkness Crystal on Rubicante, and I'm hoping he decides to check Odin before diving the moon, but because of how late he isn't getting the Darkness Crystal, might think that the moon is the play.
Ouch, 4,500 damage to Sid. Whoa. So at this point, who do you think might be ahead here? Do you think it's? I probably would say, Xyrak as.
Yeah, I think right now Xyrak is definitely in the lead with TheFiz behind him and then Obda behind him. Hippos can definitely slingshot into the lead if he gets this crystal and checks Odin first. I suppose, yes, Chad is saying this could be the pan, so it could be the pan that leads to Darkness Crystal, but we know that this spot has to lead to the Darkness Crystal. Tower Key could also be an option.
There's the glass helmet for Xyrak. Edward being thrown away over on the Fizz's side. Obda Jr. with insane speed climbing up the Tower of Zot.
And let's see if we have a fetch quest to Darkness or straight up. And it looks like we got the straight up Darkness Crystal.
Ooh, boy. This is going to get very interesting here.
Yep, definitely going to be go mode for Xyrak as soon as he finishes this fight. I don't even think he'll go get any more levels. I think he's just going to go straight up to the moon. If the character happens to be Rosa, might think about it. Probably will then ditch Rosa and then walk all the way down and beat Zemus.
Yeah, and this would be a very significant victory for Xyrak. He's sitting on just 4 league points. So a win here would give him additional 4 points to make 8. We project that 10 points is going to get you in the last chance races. You might get away with 9, but victory would be so big here. TheFiz defeating the Dwarf Castle bosses there. Obda Jr. picking up Kane and Fusoya, who's going to get ditched over on his side. Sid is gone for the first one, and it's going to be Palom gone.
Yeah. Interesting to see the getting rid of Palom instead of Rydia, but everyone loves their Rydia this seed for some reason.
And it does look like Hippo's going to the moon.
Yeah, that's incredibly unfortunate. In the race I had against Hippos the other day, he was also looking really good doing everything very correct, and then skipped one place on the moon that happened to have the crystal and lost a ton of time. And this is kind of almost a repeat of that. Just didn't check the one place left on Earth that had the the Odin spot with demist, which would have led to the crystal. So that's the case of I think he's played exceedingly well, but just going down the wrong rabbit holes.
So TheFiz is now doing some egg scrambling here. Obdajr having completed the Tower of Zot here.
Yep, looks like Hippo's checking for value in Cave Bahamut, finds Plague. Unfortunately, we know there will be no value here. Only long rabbit holes that lead to nothing.
Alright, we are now about to check out the character sitting right here. And what do we have here? It's Rosa. Okay, this is going to let's see what Xyrak does here. Probably gonna ditch her.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he keeps Rosa, but I also would not be surprised if he keeps Rosa. If he's still got some Sirens, he's got the 10 key items, just go down with the Slingshot XP, can do 1 or 2 grind fights, and that Rosa will be right up to where Porum is.
And it looks like Xyrak is gonna do this while poisoned.
There's no time to heal, gotta go fast.
Yeah, that's very fair because, I mean, I've played a lot of randomizer races in various games throughout my time here, and you're always thinking that your opponent's going to be right there, going to have all those items. Yeah, it turns out that that's not quite the case, but you got to come in with that. You got to go in with that assumption and go for the W here.
Yeah, absolutely. And worst case scenario, you've got the adamant armor. You can throw that on Porum to make sure that and the ribbon. So put both of those on Porum, and you shouldn't have to worry too much about her dying to the big bangs.
Yeah, and so for those that are new to Final Fantasy IV, the reason he's able to do this. Well, there's twofold. One of them is that encounters are off, which has been very popular to the free enterprise. But the other thing is that when you go to Zeromus, you get a free heal and you lose all your status elements. So that's why he's able to walk through here poisoned. And unlike some other RPG games, you don't die from poison.
At least not while walking around.
Yeah, that's true. You do lose in battle. You do die in battle, but so Zeromus is not randomized in this game. Well, except for one little thing. Most of us know what that one little thing is, but for those who are new here, we'll hold that thought. And here's Zeromus.
So Hippos does the strat to reflect count back onto Plague and then just let it kill itself and is rewarded with a Stardust Rod. So definitely not what he was hoping for, but that will make Palom's nukes do probably close to quad 9s.
Obdajr doing an A grind again. And Fizz is continuing the A grind to get up to optimal level as we will now find out the fun thing that Zeromus has.
We're gonna find out whose butt we're gonna kick today.
His true colors emerged. And what is... Oh, wait. Is that the Queen of... Oh, it's the Queen of Hearts. Nice! Immediately slows her. Immediately slows Queen Mus. There's a reason for that, Supremacy.
Yeah, the Silkweb item that was used casts 2 instances of slow, which all bosses in this game are susceptible to slow. You can slow them all down. So a double slow just definitely decreases the amount of turns that the boss is taking extremely noticeably, lets your characters get a lot more turns. The secondary thing it does in the Zeromus fight is that whenever you trigger a nuke counter from Zeromus, it lowers his magic attack. And part of the script is that before Big Bang is cast, it resets the magic to a higher value. And when Nuke is cast, resets it to a lower one. So if you force a Nuke counter, it sets the magic low, and if you time it right, it never gets reset back up. So when Big Bang is cast, the damage is effectively nerfed. So whereas a full unnerfed Big Bang might do somewhere between 1600 to 2400 damage, a nerfed one can do as little as 200.
Well, here's the next Big Bang here. Is ouch, Palom's gone.
Yep,
So
that was not nerfed.
No, and there were there are two heroes down over here. Mom Bomb is one of the bosses over in Lunar Subterrane.
Yeah, Mom Bomb's a boss that when you fight on the moon is not actually too difficult. The Mom Bomb script is that it's got 10,000 HP and it starts to transform at 10,000 minus whatever the health spot is. On the moon, everything's got so much health, it's just that, okay, well, we threw another 10,000 onto this spot, and you're strong enough to deal 10,000 damage very quickly. Finds the tower key, so it'll be interesting to see if Hippos tries to chase that, or just continues to go down the rest of the moon.
Meanwhile, TheFiz is going to take on Rubicon here, and upon victory, or at least he hopes victory, it will yield that darkness crystal and will allow him to go for game here. 80 minutes in.
Yep, looks like Obdajr Jr. is going to be taking the tower key, or the Luca key path first. We'll get that rat tail, probably fight Valvalus again. This time, probably beat her, and then we'll be unfortunately rewarded with that legend sword.
Ooh, and Rydia going down to a very powerful Big Bang here, so pretty much somewhat back to square one, but dealing some pretty good damage here. There's the black hole. Nobody ever wants to see that.
Yeah, Xyrak is having a surprisingly difficult Zeromus fight here. With Rydia and Palom dead, it's basically all on the backs of Sid and Yang to do their berserk things. But Fu might run out of mana or magic points before the fight ends, so that'll be difficult to make sure that... It looks like he does have an Ether too, so we'll be able to at least do one refill. But that's going to be his last Cure 4 before he needs to heal his magic points.
Yeah, the Ether 2 recovers over 100 magic points back to the player. And 3 soldiers and an officer for the next Lunar Subterrane fight down at the bottom basement.
Yeah, I don't know what is going through Hippo's head right now. He might think he's ahead, but also since clearing out that boss is the last possible thing, might think he's way behind as well. And especially seeing all these basically easy lunar bosses, he might feel that a dot done is imminent, but not from the spot that he expects.
And that is, I believe, Xyrak's in stage 2. I believe that was an unadvertised nuke, or an unprovoked nuke. That's the word I was looking for.
Yep, looks like he's trying to get Fu up using some Cure 2s. Has plenty of Bacchus Wine, so doesn't have to worry about using Fu turns to cast Berserk.
Alright, here we go with the next big bang here.
Yeah, Xyrak looks to have recovered pretty well. He got the Silk Web off, and the Berserk's back up, so Queen Miss is now really slow, and his fighters are Berserked, so as long as Fu doesn't eat a really bad roll on the Big Bang, he should be fine here, at least until the next black hole.
All right, still, yeah, it's dealing 4,000 damage per round. It's starting to look really good, but we're not into that final phase quite yet.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Oh, Medio, I call that the victory lap, as Xyrak is about to do it, I think. Oh boy, and Xyrak is gonna take this race in style! There's the flash! Xyrak wins at a final time of 84 minutes and 5 seconds. Grabs 4 crucial league points and goes up to 8 with 1 race remaining.
Yeah, GG to Xyrak. Let's see if we can get him in here for an interview.
As Hippos goes down to the Wyvern.
Yeah, I have not been paying much attention to Hippo's screen. I saw that he did the Baron Soldiers fight, saw that he cleared out Dark Elf as well. Did not see what any of the items were, though. And yeah, that's a very unfortunate spot to find the Wyvern at.
TheFiz, having defeated Rubicant, gaining the Darkness Crystal, believe will be the second person to be able to go down the lunar subterranean and take on Zeromus here.
Yep, it looks like Hippos didn't save before checking that Ogopogo spot, so has to redo the Dark Elf. I'm not sure. I guess the pan must have been behind the ribbon chests. I don't know why you would redo the Dark Elf. It looks like we are joined by Xyrak. Xyrak, GG, how do you feel?
Pretty good. I really, really, really needed this win, so it feels awesome to get it.
So you were the first to spot the D-Mist at Odin, and you fully committed to that, and it turned out just exactly what you needed. What made you decide to chase that down instead of checking out some of the other spots?
2-for-1 value. I mean, obviously I tried to do it early. I just came to the conclusion that since I had Sirens and a decent way to egg grind with Dragon Rip, where I was like, there's no point in getting through this on low levels, low damage. Just come back when I have some levels. But once I found, I don't know. Once I found Demus there, I was like, there's a possibility that people haven't checked this. So I'm just going to roll with it, and wound up being correct.
Yeah, so when you finally got the crystal at the end of that chain, did you feel like you were ahead or behind?
I honestly had no idea, because I felt like I had like decent execution combat-wise, but nothing spectacular. So basically I was like, if Ordeals or the top of tower or something like that led to some sort of other quest chain, or if someone pulled the Darkness Crystal and went to the moon, then I would have a decent advantage. But it would be very easy for somebody not to do that. Like I had no idea.
Yeah, so to give you an update on kind of where everybody else is, Hippos never checked the Odin spot, so got the Darkness Crystal from Rubicante basically after full clearing everything else, and is now checking out the moon. Obdajr Jr. did the Tower Key, or did the Top of Babel, which led to the Luca Key, which led to the Rat Tail guarded by Volvalis, but the Rat Tail only led to the Legend Sword.
Yeah. I kind of figured that if people pulled the Darkness Crystal early with very little else left on the map, there was a possibility people could go to the moon. So I felt like I could be ahead, but I didn't really know. I definitely wasn't confident. The only thing that I really liked was how my grind worked out, really, because I felt like keeping Rydia is not the obvious play, I don't think, in a lot of cases. But doing that, knowing I had access to the Adamant Armor, made the egg grind just super, super quick.
Yeah, I think I was a little... So we weren't sure when you found Rosa on the moon. I think a lot of people might have kept her there, but if you had, just 2 or 3 Sirens and Hourglasses, the Ryu grind would have gotten her up to suitable hit points and magic power just fine. But we weren't sure if you felt ahead or behind, and we're like, nope, don't have the time to spend on those levels, gotta go fast.
Yeah, basically. Basically, it was like, as soon as I did the egg grind, I was like, this is my party. Like, I don't... I don't care if it's Rosa or whomever. I guess Rosa, since I knew Edge was in Typo, was the only person really who could be up there that I would even remotely consider. But yeah, once I did the egg grind, I was like, this is my team of 5. So let's go.
All right, Game Boy, do you have any questions for Xyrak?
I'm not the best at asking questions here, but I do have to say that was an excellent run, and definitely got you in a much better position to make it to the next round. That's for sure.
Yeah, especially since I've got some Titans in my last race, so there's not that there's any freebies anywhere when you're talking about top 32 people in the world, but there's certainly. Excuse me, no freebies in that last match either, so I needed all the points that I can get, so I'm really happy to come away with 4 here.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that a 3rd place or better might get you into at least the last chance race. So here's hoping, and good luck to you on that match. That will be you're definitely correct. That is going to be quite the race to watch. And I was saying to Supremacy earlier that's what a way to finish the league.
Yeah, that last one should be a good one. I think there's going to be a lot on the line for a couple of people on that one, so that should be a pretty hype race.
Absolutely, and also the last race of the league until we cut the playoffs. So should definitely be a hype one. All right. Do you have any final thoughts?
No. I think we covered most of it. Just wanted to thank the 2 of you for commentating, Scala for the restream, Ovo for tracking, and Rivers and Penguin and all the other admins for putting the tournament together. It's been a blast so far, and hoping we can come out with another good one on the 30th.
Oh, it's been
absolutely.
Pleasure. It's been our pleasure, and thank you very much.
We see Hippos has returned from the moon, is checking out that tower key. We have the vanilla Dark Imps. And I didn't catch what is here from the credits, but we know it's not going to be anything useful. I suppose it could be the pass. I didn't see where the pass was, but... TheFiz is now entering the Zeromus fight, about to do the transform, and Obdajr Jr. is just making the descent now.
Yeah, I think TheFiz is going to be about 60 seconds ahead. As this is going to be fun. Who's going to get 2 and who's going to get 3? What will the Queen of Hearts say?
Yeah, so TheFiz did the transform and started fighting at around exactly 132. Let's see how long it takes for Obdajr to get there.
Ooh, that Drain Spear, man. Yeah. I mean, it does heal Kane, but it's not dealing a lot of damage here.
No, the Drain Spear has like a 30% accuracy rate. It is, as far as accuracy goes, basically the worst weapon in the game. If you don't jump with it, you're not going to be hitting much.
Well, here we go. Here comes our first Big Bang. Sid is in the middle, which is typically the preferred character there.
Yep, out comes the Big Bang. We'll see what it does to Porum. 800 damage. Oh, that one was nerfed. She's fine.
And about 75 seconds later, Obdajr Jr. begins his Queen Mist fight.
Yep, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any difference in strategy here, if Obdajr decides to go for some hybrid strats, also reflecting spells, or just goes for the Berserker. I think just with the Berserker strat, I don't know if he'll be able to make up the lost time, but I think if he tries the hybrid strat, he might be able to snipe it right out from the Fizz.
Ooh, that was a only 2,800 hit point nuke there, and I believe that is because Rydia still has the Dragon Whip equipped. Does that sound right?
It could be the Dragon Whip and Heroine Robe still equipped, so he might be better off just berserking her at this point.
I'm gonna try the wall strat to see if he can knock out Zeromus early.
Yep, it looks like Hippos has decided to go check the Odin spot, so he's gonna find the D-Mist there. Probably gonna kick themselves, thinking that the crystal has to be there, and then as soon as they get the Twin Harp into Earth Crystal, I would not be surprised that after the second and third .duns come out to just see a forfeit.
All right, so looks like all 10 characters are currently standing between our two Zeromus fighters. Here comes the White Bounce over on Obdajr Jr.'s side. Ooh, ouch.
Yeah, those white spells out a whole or Porum are doing some serious work. If we can get super lucky and can reflect that to avoid the HP refill, it would definitely slingshot him into the lead.
There's we go, another 3,600 HP nuke there.
Yep, looks like the Fizz is opting to go for some hybrid strats of his own, though. Palom gets nuked down, though, unfortunately.
Oh, that's gonna slow him down a little bit. Here we go, another white bounce. I tell you what, a lot of damage has been dealt already. Let's see if Obda can shortcut this. Black hole down on the Fizz.
Oh, looks like Obdajr Jr. does also have that Drain Spear equipped, but so Kane's damage has been wildly varying.
I think he might be waiting for the next Big Bang here. Although I think the HP reset has happened because it just... Oh, there's the shake. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get the quick kill from the reflect strats. However, they are still a whole lot of damage. I'm surprised to see him just waiting so long for the Big Bang. Definitely could have probably gotten 2 or 3 spells off in that time.
No!
Yeah, Fu goes down. He only had 1,000 hit points. I don't think that's super surprising. Night Dew pointing out in chat, he was probably waiting to see if there was a black hole cast. Didn't want to queue up the white onto Fu just to have the black hole come out and then him die because he's no longer walled.
And speaking of the black hole, there it is. And another nuke coming down over on the TheFiz's side.
Yep,
I think I heard it shake.
Decided to put a Star Veil on Rydia. Rydia, and then she immediately catches the unprovoked nuke from Phase 2, so Zeromus nukes himself. And then now it's going to be bouncing white off of Rydia, so not really caring about Fu, so... And we see Xyrak, or TheFiz entering the Meteor phase.
Oh boy, the TheFiz is gonna really that's just one thing he really loves to see as is it gonna be a nuke? No, Yang was just like, no. Let's just get this done with. Fizz has finished in second place. Final time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 32 seconds. TheFiz now finishes this portion of the league with 13 points. Clearly makes it into the top 12. Doesn't have to deal with any last chance races, so he is good to go.
Yeah, definitely a great finish for Fizz.
And I'm thinking that Abda's getting pretty close as well. But let's see, there's the shake first.
Yep, and just like on the Fizz, Yang hits him twice, and there it goes.
Down goes Queen Miss over on Abda Jr.'s side, 2 points. That will give him 9, which keeps him in the running as far as possibly a last chance race is concerned. And as for Hippos, who had such a great start, but unfortunately missed the Odin fight for such a long time, his 1 point will give him 7, and that will eliminate him from the league.
So we're joined now by the Fizz. GG Fizz, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I feel good. I would have liked to have won that one just to make a statement, but it was a tough race. Like everyone in this tournament's like tough, so there's no freebies, and that's second place. I'm happy with 13. Ending with 13, I'm happy with.
Yeah, I mean, 13 points should definitely be enough to... I mean, it's going to definitely be enough for the top 12. You're still actually in contention for top 4 now still, I believe.
Yeah, top 4, I'm like 50-50 on if I want or not, to be very honest. Because I don't know, it's like making your own bed and picking your opponents. And I would rather just lose. If I'm going to lose, I'd rather lose by not picking the person that beats me. So either way, though, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's always a tough spot to be in.
And I will mention that Hippos, yeah, you called it Supremacy. Hippos did indeed forfeit, so.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, we are cutting 50%, and even being in the top 32 is, I mean, that was a tough fight just to get in the top 32, so Hippos should not be upset with themselves at all.
Yeah, so while all of the three of you that did finish kind of found the Mist Dragon at the Odin spot, Hippos found the Darkness Crystal first, so ended up full clearing the moon.
The Odin spot's really easy to forget about. The only thing that I would, if I went back and I would do it different, is I would probably have just did my grind all in one shot instead of like 3 or 4 separate little grinds. I was like, okay, I need a couple more levels to beat this. Okay, now go back. Now I need a couple more levels to beat that, then go back. So that I should have just did it all.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yep. So we're also greeted here by Obdajr Jr. GG to you as well. So what are your thoughts on the seed?
Oh, I got baited so many times. Yep. Mostly by the Luca key. That was I went in, saw that it was Valbelis at the end of the sealed cave, and then it baited me into taking Kane at the Earth Crystal just because I figured if it was behind there, I would be way ahead if I just did it and finished it, but then it ended up being nothing. So
yeah, we saw Hippos actually picked up the Dark Knight Cecil from the Eblon Cave, so was probably not too thrilled with that not being a great item, but was able to get the Excalibur out of it for his Cecil. So, but yeah, he did not have Kane. He just berserked Yang and Sid into it and used a Moonveil on Cecil to prevent all the damage.
Yeah, I also had I knew where the Blizzard Spear was, and I knew I had to fight Rubicante maybe, and I had Drain Spear, and I was hoping that would work better, but it didn't actually do as much damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I also made the mistake of being like, oh, Drain has more attack value, forgetting, like, in the heat of the moment, and I know this, but forgetting that Drain definitely has really bad accuracy and it lowers stats, and so I sold the Blizzard and then immediately regretted it.
Yeah, I was doing the thing where you swap the sword mid-battle, or so you don't get a detriment from it, but you need to also be in the center, or else you're not going to hit
Right.
And I didn't do that, so it was fine. I thought my Zemus fight went fine, but I narrowly missed out in getting a second.
Yeah, I had a couple of missed nerfs for Big Bangs that I got lucky on by like 20 HP 2 times.
Oh. Yeah, I was strong enough where I wasn't worried about anything. At that
I had
point.
like 2k flat on Porum, so.
Yeah, I was double nuking, double whiting.
Oh, you almost caught me that. Like
that.
Yeah, it was definitely a very close fight. Obda got into the Zeromus fight about 75 seconds after you did, Fizz.
Yeah,
I saw that.
A heroine robe off of Rydia, so her nukes were really bad.
Oh, if you would have done that, I bet you would have got me.
Yeah. Oh, and the dragon whip. Like, I had both, so I was minus what? 15
a lot.
Wisdom or
A lot.
Didn't think about it. I wasn't thinking of actually using her. I'm like, wait a sec, she has nuke.
Yeah, I did.
So was it either of you? I can't remember now because I have the memory of a goldfish. But one of our runners did not pick up Fu. I don't.
That was me.
Okay, so why did you not grab Fu?
I don't like his limited MP pool. I was planning on nerfing Big Bangs with nukes, and I didn't like his limited MP pool. In addition, I knew I would progress that fight fast by nerfing Big Bangs with nukes, that I'd only see one black hole. So reapplying Berserk wasn't really a priority of mine. So
yeah, I had an elixir, so I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, I had some ethers, but it's in my mind it was just, I already have Porum, who's the best black mage in the game, so I'm not gonna take Fu over Porum.
Right. Well, Porum would be the white mage, but I think you mean Palom.
I mean Palom. Yeah, you're correct.
I'm gonna say, when did Porum learn black magic spell?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, that'd be nice.
Well, okay, so I'm sitting at 9 points. I don't think it makes me.
You're not safe, but you're not.
I'm definitely not safe. I'm probably not even. Just looking at the standings, if it has to be.
I mean, there's a chance. Let me put it that way. With 9, there's a chance.
Yeah.
It would require some interesting things to happen in the last races, but.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think
I had a ton of fun doing this. Made a lot of bad decisions in the races I got third in, so I don't feel like I played terribly, and I hope that my races were at least fun to watch.
I'll tell you this much. This race was very fun to watch. So I thank all of you for giving us about an hour and 40 minutes of really solid entertainment. So GG to both of you.
Yeah, GG everyone. GG. And this being my last race, last race in the round of 32, I will tell you that none of these were free. So Everyone in this tournament's really, really good and should continue to play, even if you've got discouraged from your results in these races. It's a fun randomizer. They still are actively developing it, so 100% you should. If you haven't played it, play it. If you are playing it, even if you're out of the tournament, still play it. It's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, every white race I had, I was worried about one person, and then the other people beat me. And it's just, no matter how good you are, as long as you have the fundamentals, you definitely have a chance to win.
All right, so with that, we are going to go ahead and wrap things up. If you have really enjoyed this race like we have, please, we would appreciate you following our 4 runners here, Obdajr Jr., Hippos, TheFiz, and Xyrak. Many thanks to them for an exciting race. If you are also, please follow our tracker, Obdajr, and our restreamer, Scala Kitty, and my co-commentator this evening, Supremacy. Well done to everyone.
Yeah, this was a ton of fun. And if for some reason you aren't already, follow RPG Limit Break so you can make sure you catch the remaining matches in the Highway to the Zemus-Zone.
Absolutely. And so at this point, we're going to go ahead and actually we're going to host High Spirits, who is, I believe, in his 3rd game of his 3rd attempt of the Dragon Quest 1 through 9 marathon. So obviously always really fun to watch. And so we're going to send it over to him in just one moment. So for Supremacy, Obdajr, Scala Kitty, this is me, Game Boy F9, saying you are watching RPG Limit Break. Good night.